Hi folks, thanks for checking this out. This is a very sorry looking mud blaster I came across today. A guy I've not seen for 20 years messaged me completely out of the blue, just this photo, with the text, would you be interested? Asked him how much. A couple of beers was the price, so I went and fetched it. Let's get it on the bench and have a look just how bad it is. Today, out of the blue, got a message from a guy I've not seen for 20 years. Just a photo. Would you be interested in this? You'll recognise it, I'm sure, as a mud blaster that's had quite a hard, well, not a hard life. It's just been laid up in a shed for, I suspect, over 25 years. But basically, yeah, I've inherited this for the massive price of 4 cans of Carling. 4 cans of beer, that is, to those who are not familiar with Carling Black Label. In all its retro goodness. I'm going to just show you quickly around it like this. This is the state he's pulled it out of his shed in. I've not touched it. I'm not even, look at that. I've not even took the body off yet. Poor old driver. It's got something out of Terminator, that, isn't it? What I can tell looking around it, it's going to want shocks, obviously tyres. The body's broken a few places. These bits here above the pillars, both sides, are like that. Yeah, all 4 tyres completely destroyed, just age and time. The shocks are, yeah, they're well past it as well. So they're on the shopping list, tyres and shocks on the shopping list. I'm going to pull the body off it in a minute and we'll have a proper look. Just going to put you on a tripod. So, we'll get the body shell off and have a look. I've already taken the body pin out the front. Don't know what was going on in the back. There was a piece of wire. But yeah, this body's definitely seen better days. It does seem really thin. I don't know if it's just me or what that's all about. Yeah, I don't think my brat. I don't think my Riri brat is that thin. As I say, the bonnet's all cracked. Top here is missing both sides. Something around the rear body post missing. Apart from that, yeah, the paint is all sort of flaking off on the outside, which I don't mind at all. That just makes that a bit easier. I don't really want to replace this with like a Riri brat body or anything. I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but I would like to try and sort of patch it from underneath. I know it's not going to be as nice, but it'd be as much original as I can. As I say, this guy, I've not seen him for 20 years and he's just messaged me out of the blue saying, would I like this? Which obviously I said yes, I would. Took him some cans of beer and brought this away with me. So yeah, body shell, it's toast really, but I think I'm going to do the best I can to try and patch it up a bit and just run it as it is, just because it is original. And I remember this car when my mate had it, and so much want, you know, for a mud blaster. It was so far out of reach to me at the time. And the lad's a couple of years older than me, but he sang about quite a bit with him. And yeah, it is actually one of the cars I remember. One of the cars that turned me on to Tamiya. There was this. Another guy at school actually had a mud blaster as well. what else was there? There was a guy when I was younger who had a lunchbox. I remember that. Another guy I went to school with who had a midnight pumpkin, and I just remember, you know, these Tamiyas, and they always seem to be a bit out of reach. My RC days back then, I'm talking when I'm like 13, 14 years old, I managed to get a lift and buy a second-hand Mardave Meteor. Wish I'd still got that, the way the prices have gone up on them things. But yeah, the Tamiya stuff just seemed out of reach. At one point, I think I did buy a second-hand Tamiya Mini MO1. When I bought that, it had this with it. Well, I had one of these with it. This has actually come with the Mud Blaster, the old Acoms Techni Plus. It's not that old, it's one of the later ones, I think, because it's not got the batteries in, but it's got the LEDs up the middle. Now, when I had the Mardave, I got the older version of this. There wasn't a handle like that, it was the aerial, a little T-bar and a little needle. 3 different colours on a gauge for your battery life. But getting this, it was like, wow, modern technology, LEDs and stuff. So that brings back a lot of memories, just that. I don't drive stick anymore, but obviously back in the day, this is all there was. There might have been pistol grips, or wheel transmitters, pistol grips as we used to call them. But these were the run of the mill, and they were so expensive, I remember. Our little model shop local to us, I'm sure I remember that radio with the receiver that's in this and the 2 servos, obviously, because for the mechanical speed controller. I'm sure I remember them being 95 quid. That's why you could go into the shop and buy a Mardave mini stock for like 30 quid, and then it'd cost you 3 times that for the radio gear to run it. As I remember it anyway. That might be wrong. But yeah, looking over the car, it's all there. The shocks are pretty bad, with the rust on the shaft and the springs. The motors are 540. Standard silver cam by the looks of it. The diff seems to be working, or it was. Yeah, it seems smooth enough. No real noises. This wheel's really loose for some reason. And the Meccano wheelie bar, obviously an optional part, that I think. Homemade, as you did back then. He did actually tell me at one point he did have a bit of a hotter motor in it, but he took that out a while ago. So yeah, I'm not going to do much more. Is that a screw missing on the bumper? Something not quite right. Look at the... Oh, that's screwed there. Yeah, there's a screw missing on the front here. Yeah, overall, shocks and a set of tyres. I'm going to delve into the box here in a minute. I'm going to do it off camera, the tear down, just because there's loads of people tearing these down online and they do a much better job. If you want to watch that kind of thing, a good channel to look at would be Glenn, Tamiya Legends, RC Hobby Shed, that's the Australian guy, can't remember his name, but yeah, they do really good resto videos. This is not something I normally mess about with. Vintage stuff usually doesn't interest me because I run all my cars, and I run them and I jump them, not massive jumps, just nothing stupid, but I get them muddy and I run them round, I crash them, and not on purpose, but it happens. I don't worry too much about it, and like the vintage stuff, it's kind of too precious to do that with, I think. But like this is a monster beetle, basically. When you look at it like that, take the wheels off, you wouldn't know it wasn't a monster beetle. But so you can get all the spares for them. yeah, so if it needs anything, I'll use Re parts, and if I run it and something breaks, I'll use Re parts for that too. That's what they're for me. I don't do shelf queens. The body on this is really tatty, and I'm going to use it, but I'm not bothered about it being pristine. It's just going to be a runner. From 10 foot away it might look quite nice, but once you get closer I don't think it's going to look quite so nice. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do with it. As I say, I'm not going to strip it down on camera. When I get parts for it and get it running, I'll do an update video. So as you can see, I've been stripping away here at the Mud Blaster. Obviously I'd noted that it got the old school electronics in, so I was quite surprised to see, the speed controller doesn't seem to be all rusty. I'm finding that this has been like maintained really quite well during its life. Like the little caps that hold the swing arms on, still got nice clean grease in them, not like black gunky crap. The speed controller's clean, the grease on it. My fingers are dirty anyway, I think from all the dust and everything, but it's not dirty. You know, the speed control I expect it to be. But why I've turned the camera back on, or the phone back on rather, is because of this little plate here. Now, that's different. I don't know if this is something homegrown or aftermarket from back in the day. You see it picks up on this pivot here, the same on the other side, and there's like this little metal plate. It is metal as well, that goes down on top of the servo. If anybody can tell me whether that's homegrown, if that's homemade, then they've done a really nice job of it. What the purpose of it is even. If there's something to point, yeah, this bit here. It's bolted on here, this black metal plate, and it comes over the top of the steering servo. It does mean you can't get the servo saver off, but it's just puzzled me a bit. I didn't know if that was something they did back in the day with the, whether it's just a Mud Blaster thing or a Blackfoot thing, or whether all the originals are like that. But it's just like an unexpected difference I found. Other thing I didn't know or didn't realise is this metal plate here under the manual speed controller. Now, fairly recent build my Monster Beetle is, and I don't remember having that. In fact, I'm sure it's not. I've got an electronic speed controller mounted up here, and I think it just sort of spans. The chassis, there might be a plastic tab or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, don't quote me. But yeah, that's where I'm up to. So I didn't want to get the old tear down on camera. Well, I've got a couple of questions, so I thought I'd ask anybody watching if they knew whether that was correct, or like I say, is that something homemade or is it aftermarket? Who knows? But so far the mechanicals, apart from the shocks and the tyres, it seems really good. So there we are. That's about as far as I'm going to take this. In terms of stripping it down to a bare chassis now. All the electronics out, everything seems really good. That's about as pared back as I need it to get in and clean everything. All the moving parts are off. All the old electronics back there. I'm in two minds whether to try and run them or not. With it having the old school ACOMS radio with it, I might do. I don't know. Just be a proper nostalgia trip with that, I think. Yeah, got all my screws and hardware. This is that metal plate I was talking about that went over the top of the screw stuck on there. Yeah, that's the metal plate went over the top of the servo saver. That's the one I was just talking about. Yeah, I don't know if that is an original part or, as I say, aftermarket. It's fascinated me, as you can probably tell. Shocks in there, they're probably bin fodder, to be honest, the friction shocks. Just really rusty. I might just see if we can find a set of CVAs from a Monster Beetle or something and put them on, or a cheap set of oil shocks or something for it. They're much better with them on. I mean, the big concern for me is the body. As I said, I'd love to use that original body. I've hung it up there out of the way. I'd love to use that, but the chassis, guys, it's come to pieces like it was built last week. As if somebody built it last week. All the grease and everything on it's still clean and nothing looks worn. Even underneath, it doesn't look too bashed up. That's about it. Just there, look. Couple on the little bash guard, but nothing at all major. Everything's unscrewed fine. Nothing's rounded off. I say you'd think it was built last week, but it's. I'm trying to think to my knowledge now. It's. What would it be? It's got to be 25 years since I was built, and it just come to pieces. I'll say it again, it come to pieces like it was built last week. Super happy with it. So this is going to be a bit of a ongoing project for me, guys. I'm going to take my time with it and find parts as and when they come up. I'm not in a big rush to complete it. It's just something to potter around with. I think next thing I'm going to buy for it will be probably a set of bearings, because they're cheap and easy to come by. So I'll rebuild the gearbox so I know that's ready to go back in, check it all over, and to get it rolling really it's just a set of shocks and some tyres. But I'm not in any rush to buy them. I'm not going to go rushing out, you know, hoarding parts straight away. I'll keep an eye out, and when stuff comes up at the right sort of price, I'll buy it. But so yeah, that's it for now on this one. Keep your eyes peeled for the part 2 on the Shed Find Mud Blaster project. And thanks for watching.